Good morning. Good morning, Bitcoin True Seekers. It's Wednesday, December 19th, 2019 at 7:38 here in the morning in Arizona, and the markets are open. Let's check things out. Well, first of all, of course, Bitcoin took a bit of a dump today, wicked down to around 64.20 or 64.30, but quickly had a turnaround on the 2-hour chart. We'll look at that deeply in a moment, but let's start where we always start. Here at Coin360, Bitcoin's at 6668. It's down 1.91% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum's down 3.88% in the last 24 hours at $124. Litecoin down 2.85% at $37. XRP down 5.7% at 18 cents. So, a lot of red in the market today. But it ain't all red. We got some coins that are definitely making moves. Now, the market is open, and for the Dow Jones Industrial Average here on the daily, we have started the day with a green candle and very positive MACD. S&P 500 started the day with a green candle and a very positive MACD. Definitely we're seeing upwards, trends on all these. And the Russell 2000 Index, green candle today and positive MACD. Traditional markets are rocking today. Even though we're having a bit of a lot of a downtrend on Bitcoin, and today we saw a dump, which might be correcting. Do note that we have 2.37 billion of Tether into Bitcoin last 24 hours, and Tether into Ethereum at 1.36 billion. Anytime you've got over a billion in Ethereum, that's pretty rocking. So people are buying the dip. We're starting to see Tether move into Bitcoin for sure, and Ethereum. Bitcoin market cap is 121 billion and the real volume is 491 million. Now that's pretty rocking, because if you're over 300 million, we're having at least a mediocre day, but we're almost at really half a billion if you think about it. So at 491 million, that is almost half a billion. That is not bad at all. So we're definitely seeing some Tether in and some volume. Bitcoin market, not Bitcoin market cap, but Bitcoin market dominance is 69.54%. Big green candle on that yesterday. Actually, the last 2 days have been pretty big green candles for the dominance. And today, a bit of an undecided doji, but the day is still young. Will we hit 70% dominance today? Hard to tell. Looking at the daily is something very important to note, and I think this is a great vantage point to really see what Bitcoin's going to do. This is just the daily MACD. As you can see, the MACD, the blue line, is way below the signal, and the histogram is widening. So on the daily Bitcoin is continuing its downward channel. It ain't positive yet. We had a dump, but is it turning around? Well, let's look into that. So we can see this beautiful downward channel. Well, beautiful to some, not beautiful to others, but this is the 200 moving average right here. This is the 21 weekly EMA, and this light gray one is the 50 MA. So we're below all important moving averages, and the MACD is negative, and the histogram is widening. So really, until we see a daily MACD where the blue line starts to close, that histogram starts to go this way. Sorry if I'm drawing things that people absolutely know, I'm sure, out there, but just because I want to be sure, until this histogram starts moving like that, and until the MACD starts to close on that signal, at least start closing on it, I just don't see this downtrend changing. So really, I'm watching the daily MACD, and of course the weekly is still negative also. Weekly can be a little bit too slow for me to see price action that I can work with as far as longing or shorting. But the daily MACD definitely is very good for price action, I think. Of course, that's daily price action. Depends on what time frames you're trading. But for me, if you're kind of if you hodl some of your stash of Bitcoin in and out based on the MACD swings, it's something that I do, not financial advice. I can just tell you it's something that a lot of people do. And right now, a lot of people have been out ever since this negative cross, which just happened. But I'm not sure if a lot of people got back in with the weakness of this last previous positive cross. So anyway, downward channel, that is certain. Negative MACD. If we look at the wave trend oscillator by Lazy Bear, it's kind of like a fancy MACD. We are definitely, this green line here is the oversold line. We're definitely oversold, but until this green trend line here starts to move up towards the dotted red line, which is a signal, Well, we're still negative. So sometimes you can see from the lazy bear wave fin oscillator here, it kind of moves a little bit faster, reacts faster than MACD, but it's definitely a good indicator of what MACD is oftentimes about to do. So I'm not seeing a wave fin oscillator as a good sign on daily. I'm not seeing a MACD as a good sign on daily. We're seeing a downwards channel. We are at 666, 6666, the number of the Bitcoin. So will that be the number of the Bitcoin bounce or not? Hard to tell. We have bounced that's between 6,600 and 6,800. If we look 1, 2, 3 times in the past, and we're hanging out there right now. We're either going to bounce there and get back into the 7,000 to 7,200 range, I think, just my opinion, or if we just can't get out of this downtrend, look where it's pointing, right there to previous buy-sell resistance, previous buy-sell volume in the chart, and support and resistance that was created back in April and May. And that's between 52 and 5,500. Where are we going? I just don't know. I'm just sharing my thoughts out loud here. So on the 2-hour chart, where I can see immediate price action, the MACD has turned positive. That's a good sign. So we had that dump, and then it turned around. MACD's turned positive. Histogram is widening, and so this long wick didn't seem to continue down. So here we go. We have a new candle here, and it's red. We're undecided. What's going to happen? Sometimes when I do those reports, I feel like I'm just telling you, we don't know. All we can really be sure of is these downward channels right now. And for me, if you're a long-term hodler, you don't care. If you swing in and out, well, at least from me, not financial advice, this is what I'm looking for, those swings in and out of a percentage of hodl for myself. That's what I do. Now, with that said, big news. This is an article over at Zero Hedge, and you can sum the whole thing up with, in other words, instead of a reactive QE4 as predicted by Posner, the Fed will flood the repo market with a proactive fire hose of liquidity. So now, with that said, this is an article over at Zero Hedge, linked to in the show notes. It's D-Day for the repo market on Monday. 100 billion in liquidity will be drained. What happens next? Pretty much, by pumping money into the repo market, I think there's kind of an attempt to not necessarily officially be in a quantitative easing moment, or because I know they are different, but it seems like the pump of the repo market is to avoid QE4, as they say. So if you're into such things, this is worth a look. A couple good charts and graphs there, but basically it's just an article about the repo, the cash flow by the Fed into the repo market. Really, is it just a way to avoid, quantitative easing? And anyhow, to each their own. It might be worth a look if you desire. It just depends. Some people watch these things and some people do not. But it definitely does not show a power. It shows that like all of this, may not be as real as it looks. Like here in the S&P 500, you can see that yes, it's going up and up and up, but check out the companies that are in it and look at their actual earnings. You might find that, maybe the foundations are not quite as stable as they would appear. As always, obstacles can't stop you, weather can't stop you, heartbreak can't stop you, failure can't stop you, only you can stop you. Not even these just morbid ass downward trends, downward channels can stop you. Really, they can't. You're tougher than this. You really are. You're a warrior. Keep at it. I'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully with some positive news. I have been a member of blockchain education for over 2 years, and it has been a huge factor in my success as a crypto trader. Click on the link in the description, and you will be attached to an amazing fat discount that will not last forever, that discount. Really, the platform is growing quite quickly, and get the discount while you can. Get that locked in. With that said, watch this infomercial, and you will learn a lot about blockchain education. Once you sign up, you can watch hours of video on the blockchain education method. You can sit back, chill, and learn a method that absolutely works. And with that said, it isn't like it's a couple of videos that are years old. No, new videos are constantly being made as the community asks for more knowledge. So new questions there. Jonathan Regan, he's in the chat constantly, along with other amazing traders. and the content, the educational content, keeps growing. So recently we had a membership update, but also we have a video on the 200 moving average. He really zoomed in on it. Like, here's some info. He helped us get even better at using the 200 moving average in different time frames, and also the dirty 30 scanner. I can't tell you about that because, well, sorry, but you got to join. But if you do implement that in TradingView, you're going to be able to zero in on coins that are about to rock, as you can see right here. Now, with that said, you can watch a video. It's linked in the show notes. It's basically become a successful trader, discover the 5 pillars to success. But basically, their education, methodology, discovery, support, and automation. One of the most important things really is support. You need to have a crew to trade with. And so once you become part of the blockchain education family, you've got a 24-hour chat and you are hanging out with people who actually really care about your success. And everybody's chatting and we're comparing charts, and there's always experts in there to really help. But it's not always an expert that can help. You're going to find yourself helping others. You're going to be an expert before you know it. So I hope you sign up. Look, these are some recent calls. These are a couple days old, so I'm not showing anybody anything that just happened. But look at that. These are gains. And if you want it, you could have been auto-entered into these, or you could have entered into them manually. Now, we also have a weekly newsletter that shows all the wins, all the gains. So basically, look at that. The last couple of weeks, we've had these are the average gains. Boom, I don't want to show you too much. This is for members only. But top 10 performers for the week. Boom. These are all calls that everybody was in, who chose to be in. Either manually entered or they were auto-entered in the hybrid system. So hey, look, blockchain education, let's make money. Let's build something great together. I hope to see you there. I'm Cowboy Craig in the chat.